Your bank account lies to you, and that lie keeps you trapped in an invisible cycle of financial scarcity. What you're about to discover can forever change the way you view money, because there's a technique taught by Neville Goddard that can break this illusion and transform your financial reality from the ground up. Are you really ready to reach a new level of abundance? If the answer is yes, stay, because this knowledge may not be available for long. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, check your account, and see $10 million. How would you feel? Would you explode with joy? Would you breathe a sigh of relief? Or would you feel, oddly, uncomfortable? Surprisingly, many people would experience fear or guilt in the face of sudden wealth. And that reaction says it all. Because the biggest barrier to manifesting abundance isn't outside, it's inside you. This is where everything changes. The real reason most people struggle with money has nothing to do with their job, their education, or the economy. The obstacle is in the mind. Studies show that more than 95% of people unconsciously reject wealth, even when a clear opportunity presents itself. Why? Because from childhood, we absorb beliefs about money that shape our relationship with it. Phrases like, money is the root of all evil, rich people are selfish, or money doesn't grow on trees, become embedded in our subconscious, creating mental blocks that repel abundance. Neuroscience confirms this. Your brain constantly works to maintain what it considers normal. If you've lived on the edge for years, that feeling of lack becomes your comfort zone. And even if you consciously want more, your unconscious mind sabotages you to keep you the same. That's why wishing for money or repeating positive affirmations isn't enough. Because you're not fighting reality, you're fighting your mental programming. But here's the good news. Being aware of this is the first step to changing everything. You're not stuck. You're conditioned, and that can be reprogrammed. Neville Goddard understood this better than anyone. He taught a powerful truth. Your assumptions create your reality. Every aspect of your life, including your financial situation, reflects the beliefs and assumptions you hold about yourself and what you think you deserve. This is where his transformative technique, assumption reframing, comes into play. Instead of fighting the external world, you can transform your internal reality by changing what you assume to be true. Imagine being able to readjust your internal wealth thermostat so that abundance flows naturally to you. Visualize yourself living each day with the certainty that money comes to you easily, that you are worthy, and that prosperity is your natural state. This isn't fantasy. It's neuroscience applied to consciousness. It's not about pretending, but about reconfiguring the way you experience reality. Before I teach you the exact method to do this, there's something essential you must understand, the true nature of money. And prepare yourself, because what you're about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about wealth. Money isn't what you think it is. It's not just bills or numbers on a screen. Money is a shared idea, a collective belief. It's symbolic energy that moves according to the rules you accept as real. Think about this. A $100 bill has no intrinsic value. It's just paper with ink. What gives it power is the meaning you, and everyone, attributes to it. Quantum physics teaches us that reality is fluid, that multiple possibilities coexist at all times. Wealth is also one of those possibilities. And the version of reality you experience depends on your dominant thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. So why do so many people feel like money is always out of reach? Because their deepest beliefs say, money is scarce, it's hard to earn, or I'm not good enough to deserve it. And as long as those ideas remain active in your mind, you will live exactly the reality they create. Neville Goddard summed it up brilliantly. You don't get what you want, you get what you assume to be true. So, if you assume money is scarce, you will experience scarcity. But if you assume abundance is your natural state, your reality will reorganize itself to reflect that. This isn't a mental trick. It's a spiritual, mental, and energetic law at work. And now that you know this, you have a choice. Continue believing what you see in your bank account, or start seeing your bank account as a mirror of your inner beliefs, an illusion you can rewrite. Because when you change your mind, your world changes. If you assume that wealth is abundant and flows easily to you, you will begin to experience just that. Your reality will begin to reflect what feels true. Imagine seeing money not as something you have to chase or accumulate, but as a sacred tool that you use freely and joyfully, knowing there is always more where that came from. Visualize yourself living with unwavering faith, the certainty that abundance is not something you must earn, but something that is already yours by natural right. This isn't about thinking positively. It's about changing the way you perceive the world and, above all, the way you perceive yourself within it. Of course, this change doesn't happen overnight. For years, we were conditioned to believe that wealth is scarce, that only a few can access it, and that we must sacrifice to get even a slice of the pie. But that narrative is a collective illusion. When you manage to break it, your financial reality changes completely. You begin to see opportunities where before you only saw problems. You begin to attract money, projects, and connections effortlessly because you stop resisting the natural flow of abundance. This isn't magic. It's a consequence. The natural result of aligning yourself with the true nature of money and the human mind. And the best part is that this change is available to you right now. You only need one thing: the willingness to see money from a new perspective. And remember that the power to create wealth has always been within you. Think for a moment. What if your brain was already programmed for abundance, and all you needed was to flip the right switch? That possibility isn't metaphorical. It's literal, and its name is neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's amazing ability to reorganize itself, creating new connections and patterns based on your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Every time you think about money, whether with fear, frustration, or gratitude, your brain reinforces specific circuits. If those thoughts are charged with anxiety or scarcity, you are reinforcing an identity of lack. But if you consciously choose to think, feel, and act from a place of abundance, you begin to build a rich mind. This is where science and spirituality meet. Your mind can be trained, just like a muscle. Just as you can teach your body new physical habits, you can also teach your brain to recognize and attract financial opportunities. This isn't an abstract theory. It's exactly how the most successful people on the planet think and operate. They don't just visualize wealth, they inhabit it mentally before seeing it physically. They practice something called rich sensory visualization. They don't just imagine money, but fully immerse themselves in the experience. They see the details, feel the textures, smell the spaces, hear the sounds that accompany abundant living. Each vivid sensation convinces the brain that this reality is already true, and the brain, consequently, begins to act as if it were. Another equally powerful technique is future recollection. Instead of visualizing vague desires, you mentally recreate specific moments from the future as if they had already happened. You imagine receiving unexpected income, paying off your debts effortlessly, making guilt-free purchases, or living days of total financial freedom. The trick is that your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is intensely imagined. Therefore, these future memories begin to influence your decisions, your energy, and the results you attract into your life. But we can go even deeper. There is a practice so powerful that it completely redefines your relationship with wealth. It's called wealth identity projection, and it goes beyond visualizing or repeating affirmations. It's about fully becoming your rich self. Now, ask yourself this question. If you were already financially free, how would you walk? How would you talk? How would you make decisions? How would you invest your time and energy each day? The key is to embody that identity starting today. For a few minutes a day, assume the posture, mindset, and inner calm of someone who already lives in abundance. You're not pretending, you're reprogramming. Because when you act as if you were already that person, your brain begins to reorganize its neural connections so that that version of you becomes natural, automatic, and real. And when your mind accepts that identity is true, the universe has no choice but to reflect it. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with those of a truly wealthy person, the results can be extraordinary. Those who practice this deep alignment often experience synchronicities, unexpected financial opportunities, and a sense of almost magical flow in their lives. It's as if the universe begins to respond directly to this new version of yourself. And here's the key: you have the absolute power to shape your financial reality with your mind. And change can manifest faster than you think when you fully immerse yourself in these practices with faith and consistency. Because when you tap into your brain's natural ability to rewire itself, its neuroplasticity, you can shift from a scarcity mindset to one of unlimited expansion. And in doing so, you open doors to financial realities you couldn't even perceive before. However, there's a hidden catch, a silent paradox that even the most experienced manifestors often ignore. What if your intense desire for more money is precisely what's keeping you away from it? Get ready to rethink everything you thought you knew about attracting wealth. Here's the central paradox of manifestation. Desiring something too strongly can actually block it. It sounds contradictory, but when you obsess over lack, over what you don't yet have, you're emitting the frequency of lack. And the universe, a true reflection of your inner state, gives you back more of the same. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze it, the faster it leaks. Think about this. When you tell yourself, I need more money, what are you really feeling? Tension, fear, anxiety. That vibration isn't one of abundance, it's one of scarcity. And since energy attracts its equal, you'll continue to see more experiences that confirm that lack. But this doesn't mean you should stop desiring wealth or give up on your financial goals. The key isn't in the desire, but in how you sustain it. Most people desire from a place of lack. True creators desire from a place of plenitude. Imagine two people with the same goal, to manifest financial abundance. The first lives stressed, repeating affirmations without faith, imagining money just to calm their despair. Counts the days, compares their progress, and constantly wonders why it hasn't happened yet. The second person, on the other hand, is grateful for what they already have, enjoys the process, trusts that everything arrives at the perfect time. They don't cling to how or when it will happen. They simply feel abundant now. Who do you think will attract wealth first? Exactly, the second. Because while the first vibrates in the I don't have, the second vibrates in the I already am. And the universe always responds to what you are, not what you ask for. That is the true essence of manifestation, connecting with the vibration of what you desire, not chasing it out of need. And how do you achieve that? With what Neville Goddard would call detached alignment. It means keeping your desires alive, but without obsession, feeling the joy, freedom, and gratitude that wealth brings without being tied to the outcome or the calendar. You align yourself with the energy of abundance, but you let go of control over how and when. Because true faith doesn't need evidence, only consistency. In practice, this translates into something simple but powerful. Be grateful for the money already circulating in your life, regardless of the amount. Gratitude is an instant energetic switch. It transforms your frequency and immediately connects you to the flow of abundance. Visualize yourself making financial decisions calmly and wisely, instead of acting out of urgency or worry. Trust that the universe, or life itself, is always conspiring in your favor, even if the results are not yet clear. That trust, that deep serenity, is the clearest sign that you are aligned with wealth. The real secret to attracting money isn't wanting it more, but feeling like you already have it. Because when you let go of despair and embrace fulfillment, you become a natural magnet for prosperity. That's the essence of alignment, not chasing, but allowing, not begging, but remembering who you are. And when you remember that you yourself are the source, that abundance doesn't come from outside, but from within, then everything changes. You've probably already learned to trust that the universe has your back, but stop for a moment and think, what if the universe isn't just backing you, but trying to make you rich right now, and you just haven't noticed? Imagine waking up one day and realizing that wealth was always there, waiting for you to feel worthy of receiving it. Because abundance has never been far away. It's just been waiting for you to align with it. Every day, you are surrounded by subtle signs, hidden messages from the universe showing you the path to wealth and abundance. The problem is that most people don't see them. They ignore them, trapped in a routine, disconnected from the language of life. But those signs are there, waiting for you, guiding you. This is what the wise call synchronicity, the mysterious way the universe conspires in your favor. They are not mere coincidences, they are responses to your internal frequency. When you shift your energy, the outside world begins to reorganize itself. Think about this. Have you ever thought about earning more money and suddenly an unexpected opportunity appears? Or you meet someone who has just the information or connection you needed? It's not a coincidence. It's the universe speaking to you in its own language. Sometimes That voice comes like a phrase in a song, a repeated number, or a message that seems to arrive by accident, just when you needed it. They are the cosmic breadcrumbs that lead you to the banquet of abundance. But there's a secret. Only those who are energetically aligned with wealth manage to recognize them. Because abundance doesn't shout, it whispers. And if your mind is full of noise, stress, fear, or doubt, you won't be able to hear it. Successful manifestors live attentively. They don't passively wait for miracles. They act on the signals they receive. They know that every synchronicity is a confirmation, one step closer to their financial freedom. But how can you begin to decode this invisible language? The answer lies in a powerful practice, the abundance antenna technique. Imagine tuning an internal radio to pick up the frequency of wealth. Start by setting a clear intention. I am open to receiving guidance on how to attract and multiply my abundance. Throughout the day, pay attention to what resonates with you. A conversation, an idea, a book title, a sudden impulse. When something strikes a chord with you, write it down. Don't ignore it. Keep a journal of those signs. Over time, you'll see patterns. Messages repeating themselves, paths opening up, people reappearing. It's the universe showing you its secret map to your next expansion. But beware, this isn't about desperately searching for signs. It's about living awake, about keeping an open and receptive mind. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. Effortlessly, you'll begin to attract wealth, opportunities, and synchronicities that were always there, waiting for you to see them. And then comes a deeper question. What if the next step wasn't looking for signs, but becoming the sign yourself? Neville Goddard's most powerful teaching wasn't attract wealth. It was something much bigger, become wealth. It's not about waiting for the universe to bless you, but about embodying the blessing. About living, thinking, and acting as if you were already the rich version of yourself. Imagine waking up tomorrow in the skin of your abundant self. How would you walk? How would you make decisions? What energy would you project into the world? That's true manifestation, not waiting for the future, but becoming your future right now. Because when you align with the identity of abundance, the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. It's not about pretending or acting like you're rich. It's about a profound psychological and energetic transformation capable of changing the entire course of your life. When you embrace wealth, your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors begin to naturally align with that new reality. Your brain is rewired, your mental circuits are reorganized, and your energy begins to vibrate at a higher frequency, the frequency of abundance. Neville Goddard summed it up in an immortal phrase: assumptions become facts. This means that when you consistently assume the identity of a wealthy person, your subconscious begins to accept it as an unquestionable truth. And once your subconscious adopts it, it works silently, shaping your thoughts, actions, and opportunities to reflect that belief in the physical world. It's a change that's invisible at first, but unstoppable. Your external reality begins to synchronize with the identity you've already embodied internally. But let's be clear, this change has nothing to do with buying expensive clothes, pretending to be successful, or repeating empty phrases in front of the mirror. True power lies not in outward appearances, but in a complete transformation of identity. You must immerse yourself so deeply in your rich self that it begins to feel more real than your current circumstances. And yes, this may seem impossible if you're facing debt or financial hardship. But here's the crucial point. Your imagination is more powerful than your circumstances. Goddard taught that you can escape limiting reality and create a new one through heartfelt, vivid, emotional imagination. When you imagine intensely, not just with your mind, but with your heart, you begin to reprogram your subconscious. And that subconscious, once rewritten, becomes the architect of your new life. As you embody your rich identity every day, something incredible happens. Your confidence soars. Your decisions change. And you begin to see opportunities that simply didn't exist in your field of perception before. Suddenly, you feel more deserving of success, more worthy of receiving, more at peace with life. This peace of mind isn't just emotional, it's magnetic. Because like attracts like, when you vibrate at the frequency of abundance, you begin to naturally attract abundance. People, ideas, investments, coincidences, everything begins to align as if the universe had agreed to propel you forward. And then the big question arises. How do you begin to apply this in your daily life? This is where one of Neville Goddard's most powerful tools comes in, the When I Remember technique. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in the future, remembering your present. Start with the phrase, I remember when I worried about money. Now I live with complete financial freedom. This simple shift in perspective tricks the brain in positive ways. Because by remembering your present as if it were already past, you energetically displace it outside your current identity. Engage all your senses. Feel the relief, confidence, and calm. Visualize the details of your abundant life. Listen to the conversations you would have as a financially free person. The more vivid and emotional your practice, the more deeply it will be etched in your subconscious. Do it every night before bed, when your mind is most receptive, and you will observe how, little by little, the feeling of wealth becomes your natural state. Over time, you will no longer be trying to manifest. You will simply live from the certainty that you are already abundant, and the world will respond by reflecting that truth. Yet many people apply these techniques and still make no progress. They visualize, affirm, and give thanks, but their financial results barely change. Why? Because they remain trapped in limiting beliefs deeply rooted in their subconscious. Beliefs that say, I don't deserve that much, money is difficult, I'm not good with finances. And although on a conscious level they desire to prosper, on an unconscious level they resist wealth. Studies show that up to 95% of people maintain this type of internal resistance without knowing it. It's as if an invisible force is pushing money out of your hands just as you're about to receive it. Even the most powerful affirmations can't penetrate a mind programmed for scarcity unless you rewrite the code from the root. It's not just about pretending or acting as if you're already rich. It's about a profound psychological and energetic transformation with the power to literally change your life. When you embrace wealth as an internal state, your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors begin to naturally align with that reality. Your brain rewires itself, creating new connections that make you vibrate at a higher frequency, synchronized with abundance. Neville Goddard summed it up masterfully. Assumptions become facts. This means that when you consistently embrace a state of wealth, your subconscious begins to accept it as true. From that moment on, it silently works in your favor to materialize that belief in your external reality, influencing your thoughts, decisions, and the opportunities that come your way. Your external world begins to reflect the wealth that already resides within you. But this process isn't about superficial changes, like buying expensive clothes or pretending to be prosperous. True power lies in a profound shift in identity. You need to immerse yourself so intensely in your wealthy self that it feels more real than your current circumstances. This can be challenging, especially if you're experiencing financial hardship, but this is where Goddard's teachings shine brightest. He taught that imagination is far more powerful than physical reality. If you vividly imagine and feel your desired state, you can transcend your current circumstances and implant a new story in your subconscious. The psychological effects of this practice are astounding. By regularly embodying your wealthy self, you'll notice transformations in your confidence, your decision-making ability, and the way you perceive opportunities. You'll begin to notice possibilities where you previously saw only obstacles, and you'll feel deserving of success. On an energetic level, an even more powerful phenomenon occurs, like attracts like. When you vibrate at the frequency of wealth, you begin to attract people, circumstances, and opportunities that reflect that same energy. One of the most effective tools Goddard taught is the I remember when technique, designed to accelerate this internal transformation. Here's how it works. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in the future, remembering your current situation as if it were already part of the past. Mentally say, I remember when I worried about money. Now I live with complete financial freedom. As you do this, engage all your senses. Feel the relief, the joy, the security. Visualize your abundant lifestyle and listen to the conversations you would have as a prosperous person. The more vivid and emotional the exercise, the more deeply it will be embedded in your subconscious. Practice this technique daily, especially before bed, when your subconscious mind is most receptive. Over time, you will begin to naturally embody the tranquility and confidence of your abundant self, and as a result, you will attract more wealth into your life. However, many people apply these techniques, visualization, affirmations, meditation, and still remain stuck in the same financial patterns. Why does this happen? The answer lies in the limiting beliefs that reside in the subconscious. These are ideas that silently shape your relationship with money, sabotaging your results even when you consciously want to prosper. Or worse, visualizations can be counterproductive if these deep beliefs aren't addressed. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water when the bucket has holes in it. This is what happens when you try to manifest wealth without healing the negative beliefs that filter your energy and efforts. Some of the most common are money is hard to come by, only the privileged get rich, or I'm bad with money. These beliefs, often inherited from childhood or family culture, create a scarcity mindset that conditions your decisions and keeps you in a cycle of lack. You may have heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that luxury. These ideas, repeated for years, become subconscious mandates that govern your finances. But here's the good news. You can rewire your mind for abundance. Modern psychological tools, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, have shown that it is possible to effectively identify and replace limiting beliefs. By recognizing negative thoughts and replacing them with more empowering ones, you begin to change your internal programming and, with it, your financial reality. To do this, use the belief excavation and replacement technique. Observe your current financial patterns and ask yourself, what belief must exist within me for this to be true? This question will reveal the subconscious programs that are shaping your results. These feelings become their daily emotional state, and that energy attracts experiences that reflect it. Understanding its root is the first step to freeing yourself. Then, replace it with a new belief aligned with abundance. For example, if you grew up believing that money is hard to earn, change it to money flows easily to me when I am aligned with my purpose. The key is to make the new belief believable and emotionally powerful. By practicing this process consistently, you will notice a real change, not only in how you think, but also in how you feel about wealth. And that emotional shift is the most important component. It is what aligns you energetically with abundance and allows wealth to flow naturally to you. Transforming your beliefs is essential, but there is another piece of the puzzle that many ignore: your emotions. Because if your thoughts are the blueprint, your emotions are the energy that builds it. They are the true force behind all manifestation. It is not enough to imagine yourself having money. You must feel it deeply. It is an emotion that lies the creative power that turns your thoughts into reality. It's about feeling rich from within. Think for a moment. When you imagine yourself enjoying financial freedom or seeing a fat bank account, what emotions arise? Do you feel excitement, relief, enthusiasm, or do doubt and disbelief arise? The way you respond emotionally is a direct message to your subconscious and the universe, communicating what you truly believe is possible for you. This is where the real magic happens. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between emotions experienced in the imagination and those experienced in real life. When you can genuinely feel wealth and abundance, you align with the energy of those experiences, as if tuning a radio to the frequency of prosperity. Opportunities begin to flow, resources appear, and doors open in ways you hadn't previously imagined. Why do emotions have more power than thoughts? Because they are energy in motion. When you experience enthusiasm, gratitude, or joy about your financial future, your brain releases substances, chemicals that reconfigure your connections, making you more aware of opportunities, more confident in your decisions, and more aligned with actions that lead to wealth. Successful manifestors don't just visualize their goals. They live emotionally as if they've already achieved them. They cultivate gratitude for their abundance, enthusiasm for their financial freedom, and confidence in their ability to manage resources. These feelings become their daily emotional state, and that energy attracts experiences that reflect it. Now, you might ask yourself, how can I feel rich if my bank account says otherwise? The key is to shift your focus from external reality to the internal feeling of abundance. Ask yourself, what does wealth mean to me on a deep level? Is it freedom, security, or the ability to give to others. By connecting with these core emotions, you can experience abundance even if your current situation doesn't reflect it. A powerful tool is the future memory exercise. Close your eyes and vividly imagine a moment in the life of your future wealthy self. Waking up in your dream home, making a significant donation, or celebrating a major financial achievement. But don't just visualize it. Feel every emotion of joy, gratitude, and fulfillment. Practice daily. This exercise changes your default emotional state. You'll feel more abundant, more confident, and more in tune with wealth. By focusing your attention not only on what you desire, but on how you feel about already having it, you engage the most powerful force in manifestation, your emotions. This shift, more than any thought or visualization alone, opens the door to lasting wealth and abundance. But there's an even deeper level. What if the universe is already working for you, putting pieces in place, and your attempts to control everything are actually slowing it down? This is where the divine partnership protocol comes into play. The idea is simple. Imagine having an invisible, incredibly wise, and creative partner working behind the scenes. This partner, the universe, synchronizes events, aligns circumstances, and opens doors to guide you toward your financial goals. The best part is that, by cooperating with this flow, you can co-create effortlessly, trusting that everything is being arranged for your highest benefit, while you maintain your focus on feeling abundance and enjoy the process.